How do leaders control millions? How do CEOs dominate boardrooms? How do master manipulators bend reality to their will? They follow rules, dark rules, rules that Robert Greene spent decades studying from history's most powerful figures. Today, you're learning 8 of them. This episode is presented to you in the form of an audiobook. This episode is a summary of Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws of Power. The 48 Laws of Power, perhaps one of the most controversial books ever written. Some people say this book should be banned because it's too dangerous. Others say this book changed their lives because it shows the truth. So what's the truth? The truth is this: power operates by rules, and these rules are not moral. They're not fair. They're just effective. Robert Greene studied 3,000 years of history to write this book. From Caesar to Napoleon, from Cleopatra to Machiavelli, he analyzed the strategies of history's most powerful people. And what he found was this: power is not random. Power operates according to specific laws, and if you know these laws, you can use them. But be careful. These laws are not moral guidelines. They are observations, descriptions of how reality works. And today, I'm going to explain to you the 8 most powerful, most dangerous, most effective laws out of the 48. Let's begin. Law number 1, never outshine the master. Here's the first rule: never appear more brilliant than your boss, your leader, your master. Why? Because powerful people are insecure, and if you appear smarter, more talented, more brilliant than them, you threaten them, and threatened people destroy you. There are countless examples of this in history. Think of Nicolas Fouquet. He was France's finance minister, very rich, very successful, and he organized a magnificent feast to impress King Louis XIV. The palace was more splendid than the king's palace. The food was more luxurious than the king's food. Everything was perfect. And what did King Louis do? He arrested Fouquet, seized all his wealth, and threw him in prison for life. Why? Because Fouquet had outshone the king. The same thing happens in the modern world. At work, you present a better idea than your boss, and you expect to get promoted. But what happens? Your boss sees you as a threat and assigns you to side projects, or worse, fires you. This law is ruthless, but it's real. So what should you do? Attribute your success to your master. Make them look brilliant. Keep yourself in the background. And one day, when they're gone, you'll already be ready to take their place. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. People should not know what you want, because if you reveal your intentions, people prepare. They resist. They block. But if you conceal your intentions, you surprise people. And surprised people are defenseless. Otto von Bismarck applied this perfectly. He wanted to unify Germany. But if he said this openly, all of Europe would oppose him. So what did he do? He took small, seemingly insignificant steps. A trade agreement here, a military alliance there, and nobody noticed, until Germany was unified. In the modern world, you see this law in business negotiations. A good negotiator never reveals their real goal. Let's say you're buying a car. If you tell the seller, "I definitely want this car," the price goes up. But if you appear uninterested, mention other options, the seller lowers the price. Concealing your intentions is not weakness, it's strategy. But be careful. This law can also be used against you. If you want to see someone's real intention, don't look at what they say, look at what they do. Law number 6. Court attention at all costs. If you're invisible, you're nothing. In the world of power, attention is everything. And to get attention, sometimes you have to do extraordinary things. P.T. Barnum was a genius who understood this. American circus owner and showman. To get people's attention, he would do the strangest, most surprising, most controversial things. Once he exhibited something called the Fiji mermaid. In reality, it was a combination of a monkey and a dead fish, but people came in droves because they were curious. As Barnum said, "Say what you want about me, but say something." Today, we see the same law on social media. People create shocking content to get attention. They say controversial ideas. They create scandals. Why? Because attention is money, attention is power. But be careful. Wrong attention can destroy you. While getting attention, don't lose control, be visible. But be visible for a purpose. Law number 15, crush your enemy totally, show no mercy. This is one of the harshest laws in the book, and most people don't want to hear it. But what Greene says is clear. If you have an enemy, don't leave them halfway, because a wounded enemy is more dangerous. The person who best exemplified this in history is China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. He didn't just defeat his rivals, he destroyed their families, their supporters, their entire power structures, so no one could come back and take revenge. Ruthless? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. In the modern world, this law is very common in business. Big companies buy their competitors, erase them from the market, leave no chance. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, what did he do? He cut rival projects, ended unnecessary products, and rebuilt Apple from scratch. But be careful. This law should not be used in personal relationships, because you can't always win in life, and the person who is your enemy tomorrow might be your friend today. Use this law with wisdom. Law number 16, use absence to increase respect. The more you appear, the less valuable you become. When people have you constantly available, they see you as ordinary, but your absence makes you mysterious. And people crave mystery. Napoleon used this perfectly. After battles, he wouldn't immediately return to Paris. He would wait a bit, people would wonder about him, and when he returned, he was welcomed like a hero. This law is also very effective in relationships. You're constantly texting someone, you're constantly available, you're constantly there. What happens? That person starts to see you as ordinary, but if you pull back, interest increases, because people fear losing. But be careful. This law should not be used for manipulation. The goal is to value yourself and ensure others value you too. Don't be constantly available. Sometimes, let your absence increase your value. Law number 27, play on people's need to believe. People need to believe. A leader, a cause, a vision. Believing in something gives them power. And if you provide that belief, they will follow you. History's most powerful leaders knew this. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, they were all terrible people, but they were very good at one thing, making people believe. They presented a vision, they showed an enemy, they promised a future, and millions followed them. But this law is not just for bad people. Martin Luther King Jr. also used the same law. His "I Have a Dream" speech drew people to a belief, and that belief turned into a movement. Today, brands use this law. Apple doesn't sell you a phone, they sell you a lifestyle. Nike doesn't sell you shoes, they sell you a vision. People want to believe, and if you give them something to believe in, you can influence them. But be careful, this power comes with great responsibility. Law number 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Being different is dangerous. People fear those who are not like them, and they exclude what they fear. So if you want to survive, appear like them on the outside, but inside, keep your own thoughts. Galileo learned this. He said the earth revolves around the sun. He was right, but the church didn't believe it. And what happened? Galileo was tried, imprisoned, forced to recant his ideas. If Galileo had stayed silent from the beginning, maybe he could have achieved more. In the modern world, you see this law at work. Someone with radical ideas doesn't share them immediately. First they build trust, then they slowly present their ideas. Because if you appear too different too early, you get excluded. This law teaches you this. Thinking differently is freedom, but behaving differently is suicide. Move forward on your own path, but don't disturb the crowd. Law number 48. Assume formlessness. The final law is the deepest law. Be like water, formless, fluid, adaptive. If you have a shape, you can be targeted, but if you're formless, they can't hit you. Bruce Lee has a famous quote, "Be water, my friend." Water enters every shape, overcomes every obstacle, and can never be stopped. In the world of power, Being formless means being unpredictable. Your rivals can't understand you, they can't categorize you, and that's why they can't defeat you. Napoleon used this on the battlefield. His enemies couldn't predict what he would do, because he was constantly changing. Today, successful entrepreneurs do the same thing. They start in one industry, then move to another field. They're constantly evolving. If you get stuck in one place, over time you become obsolete and disappear. But if you stay fluid, you survive. That's it. 8 laws. 8 strategies used by history's most powerful people. But now, I need to give you a very important warning. These laws are tools, and like every tool, they can be used for good or bad purposes. When Robert Greene wrote this book, he said this: knowing these laws is for protecting yourself, not for harming others. Because power also brings responsibility. If you use these laws for manipulation, people will notice, and they won't trust you. But if you use these laws to protect yourself, think strategically, and understand reality, you can make a huge difference in your life. Remember, the power game is already being played. Even if you don't know it, others do. And as Greene says, not knowing the game doesn't make you safer. It just makes you defenseless. Did what I shared in this video resonate with you? Which law do you find most dangerous? Leave a comment. Until the next video, take care of yourself. And remember, knowledge is power, but wisdom is more powerful.